Now we're joined by the awesome Wendy Von Turk and Hollis Harmon to talk about family finance. Hi, ladies. Welcome to the show. Thank you to you, Hollis Harmon, and to you, Wendy Von Turk, for joining me today. So families, we put our financial planning very low on our list of priorities. Why is that?
It's not that fun. Wouldn't you rather plan for your vacation than you would for something long term?
It's more bootylicious that way.
Yes,
exactly.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. So how do we get ourselves motivated to jump in and start doing our financial planning?
I think a great thing to do is to put it along with your taxes. Not fun. You want to procrastinate as long as you can, but you have to get it done. So why not just do it all at once?
Well, how do we start? Because a lot of times it's hard to know where to put that extra $100 into, you know, a Roth IRA, into paying off your credit cards, all those kinds of things. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think the best place to start is definitely with the budget.
Okay.
It's something you deal with every day, so you can't put it off.
Yeah.
And it's very tangible for most people. They're thinking about how much they're spending day in, day out. They can look at their credit card statements. And it's, you know, really the only way to see what you have.
Okay, and then what happens? Then where should I put my extra money, if I have any?
It really depends on your age, your family goals and objectives. It's different for absolutely everybody. There's no prescription.
Yeah.
The point is to do something with it and not spend it.
Rats. I was hoping you would say spend it on clothes.
No.
Spend it on ice cream.
Ice cream, exactly. Ice cream truck. Women in particular, and single women who aren't dealing with a family planning situation, where should we be thinking about putting money in that situation? Is that when you start going, okay, I don't necessarily have a retirement plan, but I want to start putting money, college plan, but I want to start putting money into a retirement fund? Or do you get a free pass up to 45 and say, I'm just going to spend my extra money on a great vacation and something I really wanted to do?
Are we talking about single women?
Single women.
Well, single women need to look, I think, at the long term. You know, we tend to live longer than men. So if we're going to, when do we want to retire? How long do we think we're going to live? And are we putting away enough now to protect ourselves in retirement? So it's really, again, dealing with delayed gratification in many ways. It's not that fun, but it's really smart.
Well, and being smart is important. You know, a lot of women too, when they get married and perhaps if they don't work, then they're kind of tying their finances into their spouses, and if something goes wrong down the line, that can be a little dangerous. When you are counseling couples that are talking about their financial future together or joining for the first time, what do you tell them?
I tell them that every couple is different and you have to find the solution that works for you. It's very much like couples counseling, but generally most couples fall into one of three categories. Either they share everything, they share nothing, or my favorite is his, mine, and ours. And especially when couples are older, as they're getting married and living together, you know, you get used to your system. So the best way to merge the systems is to keep a little bit of what you have going on singly, and then create a new system jointly.
I think, I agree with Wendy completely. There are generally different money scripts between the genders. And the conversation really should start before getting together or as you're getting together. You know, what is your money background and what's your money background? And how do we put it on the table so that there can be a general meeting of the minds? And you begin to establish trust and you begin to, you know, delegate, and each one should really learn what the other one's doing, because if the shoe drops, you want to hit the deck running without feeling as though you have to play catch up.
It's hard. It's hard to, when you're in love and all that happy stuff, and then to say, okay, great, what's your 401k look like? It's hard to be that vulnerable with each other, because we're kind of, in society, told to be a little more protective of our financial statistics, so to speak, right?
Well, and do you like to save or do you like to spend? You know, big purchases, little purchases. I mean, there's so much involved, and it's sort of fun when you can actually start the topic.
Well, now say that that works out, right? And you've joined your accounts, and then you start to have, little baby accounts like children, baby little expensive things like those children are. How do we start the conversation with our children about what money should mean to them and saving and that kind of a thing?
You just begin to have the conversation, and if the husband and the wife haven't done it yet, or the partners haven't done it yet, you just begin to have the conversation because, in fact, it's not taught in school generally. Therefore, it's being learned at home. Whether you like it or not, likely you are the role model,
Right.
so you have to walk the talk.
Right, and modeling is paramount.
It is.
You have to not hide your finances from your children because that's where they're learning it from.
How transparent should we be, though? When my kid asks me, how much do you make, Mommy? Should I be honest about that?
That one's difficult because children like to talk. So if you want everyone else in his or her class to know how much you make.
Or lack thereof.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, good point. Very good
So
point.
I would stick to, what things cost, how to use money, realistic life lessons, paying bills, the fact that you have to earn money, things like that.
The things cost. What about an allowance? I mean, what age should we be starting that, and how should we approach having them save some or donate some or that kind of?
Oh, I can chime in on this one. I did write a book about money for kids, and as time goes on, I try to think of these simple analogies that everybody gets. And children, so I say start as young as possible. Even before they can read, it's fine. Little kids who sit in car seats in the back of the van or the car, they all know what happens at a traffic light: red, yellow, and green. So now you take 3 jars and you color label them: red, yellow, and green. Actually won an Emmy in 2010 teaching kids what you do with $1. How you break up $1 into 10 dimes and how much goes in each of the jars. And these kids get it. They understand at the red light they may not go. So when you put your 1 dime in the red jar, you may not spend it. That's your savings jar. And what's the yellow? It's caution. Slow down, look left and right. What's happening? Thanksgiving, Mom's birthday, your little brother's birthday. We need money for that, or the prom, or whatever it is. So you need to accumulate a little bit of that money for the yellow jar. 2 dimes go in that. And then the green jar, go, spend it. You've got 7 dimes. You've got the lion's share. It's not like you've been, hardship. And it's a fun way for them to get involved. And they get
Great
it.
idea.
Little analogy.
I love that idea. How do we explain when things financially are rough for the family? If dad lost his job or mom lost her job, or can we approach that in a way that doesn't scare them?
I like to think of it like seasons, where the economy has cycles, just like the year has cycles. And in order to be able to grow, sometimes things have to be pruned back. And the message is really to be positive and know that there will be spring again, and there will be a time where, maybe things are a little bit lean, or you can't do soccer camp this year, but you'll find an alternative that's cheaper. And then maybe next year you'll be able to do what you had done the previous year.
So honesty is the best policy.
I think so.
I think it's hard for parents to find the line between saying things cost, little Johnny, and you need to put your money here, and you need to do this, and mommy's not working as much, so we can't do this or that, and make it almost a too big of a responsibility of the emotional attachments to money, and to not sugarcoat things and say, everything is fine and dandy, and money, who? And then when they grow up, they go, oh, wait a minute, how do I deal with growing up with money?
Right.
What do you think about that?
We all have to live within budgets. You do. The children will see that you are living within a budget as well. And when they have their allowance, they are now taking ownership of that money. They have financial responsibility. And in fact, they will hopefully be allowed to make decisions. Some of them will be wrong decisions, but hopefully by the time they leave for college, they will have made the nickel and dime mistakes instead of the $5,000, $10,000 mistakes. So it's the ownership and it's the process of trying. It's their money, and they're going to make their own mistakes.
Such great information. Ladies, it's been such a pleasure having you here. Can you just tell everyone how to find you and find information on what you're doing? Go ahead with you, Hollis.
I have a website, which is kidsfinance.com, and people can write to me at that website and contact me, and I'd love to hear from them.
Excellent. And what about you, Wendy?
The website is gerberkawasaki.com. I'm an advisor in a group of about 20 advisors, and you can contact me via email or phone there.
Fantastic. And we'll post all of that information on our website as well, which is broadtopicstv.com. So people can just click right there, get information on you and all the lovely things that you said here today. So thank you so much for coming in and being a part of this panel.